Hello everyone, this is another Living Football episode, so thank you for joining us from all over the world. Today we would like to introduce you to FIFA's Football for Schools, and maybe there will soon be a project near you. We also talked to iconic coach Pia Sundhage from FIFA's Women's Mentorship Programme, and we will show you what happened to all the tournament balls that haven't been used during the pandemic. Welcome to Living Football. As you know, it's our vision to make football truly global, and where better for that to happen than in schools all over the world. So we are here today with Alexandre Gros, the project leader for the Football for Schools project, FIFA's program. So thank you for being with us, Alexandre. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
What can you tell us about this FIFA program that has accelerated dramatically in the last months?
It's a global program. It's a program that we'll be bringing to all the member associations of FIFA in due course. It's a mass participation program. The idea is for children all over the world to have a fun first interaction with our beloved sport of football. It aims kids from the age of 4 to the age of 14, and really it's using football as an excuse and as a vehicle to talk about other things. We call them life skills. And so the program, as you say, has accelerated significantly quite recently because during the time of the pandemic, of course, doing activities with kids in schools would not have been very responsible. But now that hopefully things are better, we've been able to accelerate quite a lot. And the program, in a nutshell, has two main components. The first one is a mobile app that once the program is launched in a country, we say to Google and Apple to release the app for this specific territory, and then anyone and everyone in the country with a smartphone can download it.
Okay, great.
And the second one is the mass production with our long-term partner Adidas of size 4 footballs for kids. To be distributed in schools, and as you can imagine, it's a life-changing things for kids in communities when they can play with a proper Adidas football.
Yes, Alex, and more member associations are hosting events and reaping the benefits of the program, from as far afield as Mongolia, which we showed in the last episode, or Guyana and Djibouti. Football for Schools shows the very best of FIFA.
We've had 42, I believe, teachers over the 2 days, and they've been very engaged, very interested, asking a lot of questions. This morning in particular, we had a session where they led the conversation, and it went on for quite a while, which is a good sign. So I think they engage with the app. They understand the concept of what we're trying to do here, and as experienced PE teachers themselves, I think they can really use the material that we are providing with this program, both the mobile app and also the footballs for their schools. When it comes to the school, when it comes to the mass participation, Djibouti is football mad. You go in the streets, you go to the beach, everywhere you look there's kids playing football just outside the stadium, and later on in the stadium there will be people playing football. So I think in terms of school football and mass participation, Djibouti is well on its way because people have that passion for the game.
Je dirais que toute mon histoire, toute ma vie se résume autour du football. Le football m'a beaucoup appris. Dans mon enfance, c'était ma passion. J'aimais beaucoup jouer au football. J'ai eu un père qui était sportif, mais beaucoup rattaché à la culture. Et pour lui, la place de la femme, c'était dans la cuisine. Donc, il n'a pas accepté au départ que je joue au football, mais je vous assure que j'avais tellement envie de pratiquer cette discipline que pour mon père, il fallait que j'aille à l'école et que j'étudie, que j'ai des bonnes moyennes.
l'éducation a son importance pour le développement du football parce qu'on a un lien, parce que sans les enfants de l'éducation, on n'aurait pas de jeunes sur le terrain. Et l'éducation pour le football, c'est ce qui regroupe plusieurs constantes sur le terrain. C'est qu'on apprend en fait, qu'on vit dans une société, qu'on côtoie des jeunes sur le terrain, les vivre ensemble, quoi.
Je dirais que c'est une très grande chance pour les enfants de Djibouti. Beaucoup d'enfants n'ont pas eu cette chance, cette opportunité de pouvoir s'exprimer et pratiquer le football à l'école pour les enfants. Cela les amène au niveau agrandir leur esprit d'équipe, la cohésion, le partage entre les enfants eux-mêmes et également la maîtrise de soi. Et aussi pour les enfants qui ont une trop grande débauche d'énergie, ils ont la possibilité d'exprimer cela dans le football. Et je pense que ça va les aider dans leur orientation, au niveau des études également. La confiance en soi, ça va aussi leur permettre surtout de grandir. Donc déjà avec le football, nous avons des vertus que nous apprenons. Savoir gagner, savoir perdre et accepter en fait que ce soit la victoire ou la défaite.
Comment développer? Nous sommes déjà, en avance par rapport à certains pays. Le programme est lancé en 2013 chez nous à Djibouti. Les compétitions sont organisées régulièrement au niveau des écoles, au niveau des collèges, au niveau des lycées. Nous organisons des cours aux éducateurs. Et ce programme, Football for School, est arrivé aujourd'hui à Djibouti un point nommé parce que ça se complète. Ce que nous avons déjà entamé avec ce programme-là, Inch'Allah, nous allons continuer à travailler encore pour réussir et pour encore développer, parce qu'on a bénéficié des outils, des applications de formation. Maintenant, nous sommes bien outillés, nos encadreurs sont bien outillés pour encadrer les élèves, pour bien organiser les tournois. Inch'Allah, je suis persuadé, j'avais encore que le programme va réussir à Djibouti. Inch'Allah, j'espère que nous serons un des pays, un des meilleurs pays qui ont réussi ce programme.
These are wonderful pictures we saw now from Djibouti. You've also been to Guyana and Mongolia recently. What has impressed you most on your travels?
Well, it's something I mentioned in the video as well. I think the passion, not only from the kids but also the teachers, especially when you take things to the pitch. So the way we do these events is. The first and second day, we sit down with the teachers and we do a bit of class-based theory. And then you can see immediately their faces, this again, you know. But then, you know, you do it, and then in the afternoon you go on the pitch, and then all of a sudden the mood changes completely. Because as entertaining as you can make a presentation, it's still a presentation. And then when they are playing, then everybody becomes a big kid again, and everyone has fun. And then you build on that because they realize that the exercises they are doing are videos in the app, exercises they can use at school later with the kids. Then they realize that the app is translated into their own language. So it just keeps on getting better and better. And but I think Clémentine Touré, the FIFA legend in the video, says something quite important about her youth and her father's a priori about women playing football, and it It reminds me of a story that happened, which is one of the mothers of one of the players that came in one of the countries where we launched Football for Schools to one of my colleagues, Alexandra, and thanked her and told her how much it means to her and her daughter in a country where culturally little girls don't play football. But if it comes from FIFA, if it comes from the school, that they are encouraged to play. It was the first time she ever played or kicked a ball, and she came home and she was radiant. She was extremely happy. And the mother went to my colleague and gave her a big hug. And these things are extremely touching. What can you say to that? How can you not feel strongly after that? And so yeah, that was one concrete example that came to my mind of the very positive changes that football can bring or contribute to bring around the world.
I mean, football is, as we all know, an effective tool when it comes to aiding children's development and education. So how do you seek to make football more accessible to both boys and girls all over the world in order to make football truly global?
Well, I mentioned the app and the fact that it's translated into, at the moment, 20 plus languages, but we're going to carry on going because, of course, we don't want to take this app to China and tell them that they have to use it in English. The idea really is to take it and to present it in a language that everyone can understand, that is their own. And also importantly, the app is available to everyone and anyone with a smartphone in the given country. So yes, the primary target is physical education teachers, but at the same time, a coach, a neighborhood volunteer, someone in an NGO, a parent can download and can use the app. So really, the idea is to be as inclusive and make sure that as many people can become at least grassroots football coaches as possible.
And how do I find the app?
On the App Store or on Google Play. You won't if you have a Swiss or a German phone, but
yes.
But if you have a Djiboutian phone, you can simply type in FIFA Football for Schools, and like any other app, you'll be able to download it.
And there are also many other organizations involved, so FIFA teams up with a lot of NGOs who work specifically in these countries then?
Yes, that's correct. FIFA works with more than 150 NGOs in I think almost 90 different countries on a regular basis, and this network is extremely helpful and useful for us. Also, we plan on doing some qualitative data collection with these NGOs who know the communities and who can tell us if the program actually has had the impact that we want it to have.
So we are seeing many more Football for Schools projects starting all over the world. What are the next steps?
So the next steps are, because at the moment we are doing these launches country by country, but as you can imagine, if we carry on with this strategy, we'll still be launching Football for Schools in 10 years' time.
Yeah, probably.
So we're going to have to do regional trainings at some point. Actually, fairly soon we'll be starting in order to ensure that we can do these train the trainers to 10 or 12 different member associations at a time. But then it becomes all the more important that these people then implement a cascade training once they go back to their respective countries in order to ensure that the message both from the Football Association and the Ministry of Education gets through to the teachers.
But still, where will it be launching next?
So next up will be Paraguay, and still to be confirmed, but there should be Peru shortly after. And then we'll shift to Oceania and do a launch that we were supposed to do last year, but couldn't, in Tonga, and then hold a regional workshop for the other OFC member associations who actually are already quite experienced on the subject, because for some years they've been running a similar program called Just Play, and been doing some excellent work there. And after that, most likely will be in South Africa.
Please allow me one last personal question. There is a lot of traveling now involved, of course, but it seems that this is something that really fulfills you personally as well, this Football for Schools project, Alexandre.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I think from personal experience, I would say that as a child, I probably wasn't the most focused or hard-working scholar, at least in the class. But yeah, this idea to have the PE teacher talk about different life skills, I know that me as a child, I would have paid probably more attention if it came from someone who I looked up to. Yeah, but I would say Football for Schools has the potential to help children grow in many ways, and of course we're not naive to think that football will solve each and every problem in the world, but I think it's definitely FIFA's mission to try and contribute wherever possible, and I think Football for Schools, if applied properly, can bring a lot of positive changes, a lot of healthy habits in children that they can keep through life, and especially in a post-pandemic time to keep children active, and is good for their body and for their mind.
Well, this is what makes football truly global. Thank you very much, Alexandre Gros. It was a pleasure to have you here on the Living Football sofa, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And maybe one day one of these kids will play at the highest level. It is one of FIFA's core aims to increase competitiveness and to promote professionalization, especially in women's football. So part of this effort is supported by the Women's Mentorship Programme, which is designed to bring together an experienced and, well, let's say, relatively new coach to learn from each other. The new edition is about to start, and we are delighted that one of the new couples is now joining us via video. Mentor and mentee, the iconic Pia Sundhage, head coach of the Brazilian national women's team, and Tracey Kevins, head coach of the United States under-20 women's national team. So thank you so much, ladies, for joining us and for taking the time for FIFA's Living Football.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tracey, you only found out yesterday that Pia will be your mentor. So please tell us something about that specific moment.
Well, obviously, you look across the vast experience of the mentors, and obviously, I secretly was looking at Pia in the hope that we would be matched. But obviously, I was going to be ecstatic with any of the mentors I was assigned to, because we had such experience in the room. But obviously, secretly, I was really hoping for Pia. So I was ecstatic when the news was delivered.
As you mentioned, Tracey, Pia, she gained a vast experience, a lot of experience in your outstanding career. Pia, a successful player, as coach of the Swedish and the US national team, now the Brazilian team. What made you decide to make yourself available as a mentor?
Well, this is, first of all, I am honored the fact that I can do something, especially for the next generation for the women's game. And I think this is an exceptional program where you can exchange knowledge and grow by experience being shared. So I'm all up to learn new things. I'm an old woman right now. I have a lot of experience, and I just love to learn from others. And I was a lucky one. US U20 national team, you can't beat that. So I think this is a learning moment, but also for the next generation. So if I can do anything to help and to support the women's game, I'm up for it.
Tracey, what was or what would be your first question for Pia?
That's a very good question. I think, where to start. I think, there's so much of Pia's background that, I'm so intrigued in. Obviously, her leadership. So many of our former players still speak about how she was with them as a coach. but also just a tactical astuteness on the field, which sometimes we've been on the other end of as US soccer. But I think, there's where to start. I think I'm still processing, if I'm being honest, and collating my thoughts as to what will be that definitive first question. But just so excited to have this opportunity, and I thank you to FIFA for creating these opportunities for us as young coaches or up-and-coming coaches.
Pia, you were the head coach of the US team for 4 years. You won the Olympic gold medal 2 times. So you also know the structures there. So in which way do you think can you support Tracey?
Well, it's a little bit of advantage, the fact that I've been in the country, and the US, the big players, great players, they make me look good. And I learned so many things from that country, that kind of football, and I hope I wanted to support from Swedish way, so to speak. So this will be very interesting because it's the word that comes up to my mind is grit. So there is always a way. So there was always a way for us to create a relationship. And the fact that Tracey is working with younger players, because if you look at the play, you don't know whether she will evolve, if she will grow or not, and how is your coaching, how is your expectations, and tactical things and coaching things. That will be fantastic. So, and as Tracey said, I would like to thank FIFA for doing this. I think this in the long run will be a great, and it is a great program, and I think we could grow on it.
So Tracey, I mean, Pia, you're very modest, but Tracey, what does it mean to you to be able to learn from someone like Pia? And what do you think, which of her experiences will help you the most? You already mentioned the tactical field, the leadership, maybe also communications. What do you think?
Yeah, I think first of all, it's not many times, probably across any area of football or of life and a business, where you get to speak to someone who has forged a path and who has done things with experienced players at the highest level. So I think just the opportunity to just have discussions, to just sit, to talk, to break bread, to be able to listen and learn really from someone so experienced. It's just such a unique opportunity. You can go on coaching courses, which are phenomenal, and learn from leaders there, but really to have someone who is still, it's not at past, it's still present, someone who's still very much at the forefront of our women's game. It's so vital for me, and I think I'm just going to learn so much throughout this process.
And did you know that she's not only a great coach, she's also a great singer?
and a guitar player to boot as well. So
it's the perfect match. It's the perfect match. I knew it.
I'm no guitar player or piano player, but I can give a good vocal cord. So, but yeah, just that ability to work with each other will be great, and looking for the connection beyond even just the period that we work for, because I think it's something when you make these connections that you want them to be lifelong as well.
So, Pia, Tracey's next big challenge will be the upcoming FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in Costa Rica. The United States will face Ghana, the Netherlands and Japan in the group stage. So what are the chances there for the US?
Well, I would say always when US play, they're well prepared for success. And that's something I would like to learn from, being in Brazil, how important it is to plan for certain things. That will be a great tournament, absolutely. And I think US will do well, as always. And as you know, nowadays it's so tight. So back in the good old days, 91, when US won the World Cup, it's not like that any longer. It's so tight and it's competitive, and you need to find things to push the right button. And I think what I do with the team will be different from what Tracey will do, and we can learn from each other by exchanging experience. This will be great.
Tracey, so Pia is about to face the Copa America Femenina in July. It's a really important tournament. It's providing 3 direct qualifying places and 2 playoff places for the FIFA Women's World Cup. So what will you particularly pay attention to in her preparation?
Just that really, the preparation, because so much of, I think everyone looks at the final product, what goes onto the field, but so much work goes into the preparation. The analysis of players, the analysis of opponents, but really just how to get the best out of a group in what normally ends up being quite a grueling tournament, and one which has got so many outcomes, but also with risk and reward. So just really just the preparation behind it and the key factors that will lead to the team's success and future qualification for those events.
As Pia just said that you will learn from each other, the question is for both. So Pia, what is your wish for Tracey in the future?
You know what, I think you have glasses when you analyze both the coaching and the game, how to clean the glasses, not only put on the old glasses all the time, just to be able to look at it in different ways, to have the courage actually to do differently. Because if you do the same thing all the time, you will get the same result, most likely. But the women's game is evolving so fast. So if you do the same thing, you lost. You need to find different things. And I think by talking and exploring things, I hope I will, fix my glasses to make sure that I see new things.
And Tracey, vice versa?
Already, just sitting here listening to Pia and her perspectives, just really just those, how to see through a different set of eyes. I'm so open to learning and just really excited to just share and have an understanding of how I can be a better coach, and ultimately for my players. It's all about the players at the end of the day, and I want to become a better coach for my players. So how I can learn from Pia will just be huge in that respect.
So this will be a successful duo, no doubt about it at all. Pia Sundhage and Tracey Cavins, thank you so much for taking the time, and we look forward to seeing you here at the home of FIFA. Until then, all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And staying on the subject of coaching, we take a leap to Australia, where the Coach Educators Development Programme took place in Sydney, with female coaches in focus.
With a tournament so large as a World Cup, and in particular hosting a Women's World Cup, co-hosting with a whole other confederation, the eyes of the world will be on Australia and New Zealand for just over a month. And so in that time, whether it's the game, whether it's coaching, whether it's participation, everything around football, we have a huge chance to make sure the key messages and the key developments of our game are noted by public who don't always focus on football. We have to utilise that opportunity, and the work we're doing now is setting us up for that time.
Look, I think it's extremely important. Today kicks off Female Football Week here in Australia, and I think with the Women's World Cup, the FIFA Women's World Cup coming next year, we anticipate that we will get a whole lot more players, and the participation rates will increase greatly. So with more players means you need more coaches, and part of the legacy of the Women's World Cup and part of the strategy around legacy will be that we want to increase the role of females in the game, and that means female coaches, and we want to elevate female coaches in the game to leaders in the game.
It's been awesome for that to be recognised and to be invited along to a course, as all my previous coaching courses have been done, and I've been the only female in the room. So it's actually quite nice, and it's a comment that we've been making amongst the girls. It's that we don't want to just be here as a token female, but none of us feel that way. We feel equal, and the FIFA guys have made us feel that way, and equally got a lot off the men on the course. as well, but to be able to be in the same boat as the girls as well has been fantastic. And I guess with the Women's World Cup coming next year, 2023 to Australia, it's really nice to kind of start bringing that all together and bringing everyone's expertise into it.
Yeah, it's been a brilliant course. Lots of learnings from others. I think that's been important. I've really enjoyed the gender balance, I'll be totally honest. To have other females participate in the course has just brought different perspective into the course and knowledge and things like that.
The main aim of this project is to support the federations in the development of their coach educators. And I'm proud and happy that FIFA give this support, and I'm also proud that I be part in this project, because in my opinion coach education is one of the most important pillars in the technical development of a federation. And for me, coach educators are really key persons in this process, because if we have good coach educators, then they will educate the coaches also in a better way. And if we have better coaches, then we have in the future also better players. And in the end, the game will be better.
As we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic kept the whole world on tenterhooks and also brought football to a standstill, at least for a while. Some FIFA tournaments were cancelled, and maybe you wondered what happened to all the unused balls from the COVID era. Well, we'll tell you.
I'm happy to announce a fantastic opportunity exclusive for you. We have over 200 unused Adidas match balls and 2,000 mini balls that need a new home. And Fan Movement can exclusively suggest local projects to receive them. Suggest projects that are close to your heart. I look forward to seeing your videos.
My name is Mike Kadzombe. I'm a director of FC Dutch Football Academy. Our aim was to empower the youth through sport. Our challenges are mainly financial support, equipment, transport.
My name is Angela. I am from the beautiful island of the Philippines. I am from an organization that helps children who was abandoned, who was neglected, or who don't get support from their parents.
This donation from FIFA, it has given me hope that there is future in football. There is future for FC Dutch Academy. It's been an inspiration to the kids, the youngsters. They very much appreciated the support.
I feel happy for the donation of FIFA because it motivates the youth in the streets and it reduces drug abuse in the streets. It gives youth something to do in life.
We have story to tell, that we can be more and do more, even though we're from a foster care.
My name is Praveen. I'm the founder and football coach at Foot and Boot. We are a non-profit organization where we use football as a tool to raise human consciousness and transform lives of children from economically weaker section of society.
In Quetzaltenango, there is a small team called Deportivo Xelajú. Although there have been so many difficulties, they've been champions 3 times in the National Women's Soccer League.
No recibimos apoyo, pero nuestra motivación es ver el crecimiento y desarrollo del fútbol femenino de Guatemala.
Through football, we were able to connect and uplift the lives of these children.
हमें बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है अगर हमारी ट्रेनिंग नहीं होगी तो हम इससे घर पे भी खेल सकते हैं बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है हमें इस बॉल से और हम इससे घर पे भी खेल सकते हैं अगर हमारी ट्रेनिंग बंद होगी या नहीं है तो हम इससे घर पे और पार्क में भी खेल
Estoy segura que este donativo de 125 balones contribuirá de gran manera al desarrollo futbolístico del Deportivo Shell.
The stories I had from outside that young of us teaches people many things, skills, and it encourages someone's talents.
I'm Martin Kavaya. I'm a community leader here in Maringo Estate, Makadara constituency. At this stage, you find that like in our country, especially Kenya or Africa, we lack basic infrastructure, basic tools like football. So young people having such will keep them busy and will improve their skills.
kuna situation kwa tunaomba ball lakini sasa hii tunaweza tumia ball zetu kwa sababu tumetuletea.
Thank you to FIFA because it's like it is going to take us a long way. Thank you very much FIFA. Thank you very much for the fan movement.
Thank you FIFA fan movement.
What a wonderful example of sustainability. For more information, go to fifafanmovement.com. That's it for this Living Football episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day, stay healthy, and bye-bye.